Hello friends, my name is Lalit Soni and I welcome you all in this new episode of News on Map India segment. In this episode, we'll be talking about few locations which can be important for your exam point of view, and this location has been in the news in the past few weeks. Okay, so in this episode, we'll be taking these locations based on this MCQs. Okay, so that will be easy for you to remember. So if you are not already a subscriber of this particular channel, you can click the bell icon and subscribe the channel. With that, we'll be starting with the practice question which was given to you in the last class. So let's have a look at the practice question. The question was, it is a subtropical species and native to East Asia. So when we are reading questions like this which has this much of length, so if in the first impression we might think that these are very tough questions, but these questions has hints in themselves, so we have to read the hints. Okay, so first you can say it is a subtropical species and native to East Asia. So we are talking about East Asia, from which it originated and then it moved across world. Okay, so that is one thing. Then it prefers a climate which is moist, warm and winter. Okay, so they are saying that moist, warm and winters are not too cold and cultivated in a hilly terrain. So there are few hints you can see here. First thing is origin is in East Asia. Second is moist and moisture should be there. And third thing is winters should not be too cold. Okay, then they are cultivated in hilly terrains. Okay, this is the third hint. Well distributed rainfall ranging between 125 to 250 centimeters. So that is important criteria here. Centimeter is optimal for the cultivation. Which of the following is the crop? Okay, options are wheat, cotton, rice and tea. Okay, so when we are talking about origin of wheat, that is in Middle East. Second thing, that wheat and rice, cotton, if we see the division or crop cultivation division in India, we see that wheat and rice are mostly you can say cultivated in areas of plains like in Punjab, Haryana, UP. And then when we are talking about rice, it is also on the Andhra Pradesh coast and in the can say plateau area. And then when we are talking about cotton, so we know that for cotton there is a requirement of specific soil, that is black cotton soil, etc. So there are chances that this would not be in the northern part of India. Okay, now they are talking about here that their climate should be moist and warm. Okay, so this is you can say tropical or subtropical kind of situations. Okay, so when we are talking about the rainfall, so let's see, when we are talking about India. Okay, and here we have this northeast. So when we are talking about the rainfall or the hilly terrains, mostly hills are in here in Himalayas, and then we have Purvanchal hills here. Okay, and then we have Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Okay, so these are the hilly areas. Now they are saying that rainfall should be between, you can say, 125 to 250 centimeters. So now we know that the heavy rainfall areas are basically your Western Ghats and then these Purvanchal Himalayas. Okay, so now this is a hint that those crops which are growing inside this particular area are your answers. Okay, so when we are talking about this Purvanchal Himalayas or the northeastern region of India, we know that that is famous for tea. Second thing is, when we are talking about the Kerala and Tamil Nadu, some hilly areas are cultivating tea and coffee over there. Okay, so there are high chances that tea would be our answer. Second thing is, as I told you, these crops, wheat, cotton, rice, these are crops of, you can say, plain area or the plateau region. Okay, but when we are talking about tea is basically cultivated in hilly areas because it requires flowing water over there. Okay, or you can say loamy soil it requires. That is why it is grown in the hilly terrains. Okay, so tea should be your answer. Option D would be your answer. Let's have a look at the explanation here. You can see temperature requirement for tea is 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. Okay, when we are talking about rainfall, this is between 150 to 300. Okay, so in question it was given that 150 to 250. So we can consider that range here as well. Then when we are talking about soil, loamy soil is required, and producers are Assam, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So mostly we can say that these are the area where we have this much rainfall. Here if we are looking at the tea cultivating areas, here you can see Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So this area of Western Ghats has this production of tea. Then when we are talking about this area of Sikkim, Assam, West Bengal, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh. This area also sees this excess of rainfall, or you can say more than 150 centimeter of rainfall. Okay. Then when we talk about these areas of Uttarakhand and Himachal, so basically not in all areas, but in the hilly terrains of Uttarakhand and Himachal, we see the tea cultivation where there is no snow caps. Okay. So that is how you can answer this question. Your answer would be D, that is tea. Okay. Now moving further, question number 1 of this particular episode. In the context of Theppakadu elephant camps, consider the following statement. It is one of Asia's oldest elephant camps located at Madumalai Tiger Reserve. Okay. Second statement is the British established it to train elephants to carry timber since the region is dominated by teak and rosewood. Statement 3 is the people belonging to Beta Kurumbar, Kattu Nayakar and Malasar tribe. Okay, so these are tribal communities living in this particular area. So these people belonging to Beta Kurumbar, Kattu Nayakar and Malasar tribe communities manage the Theppakadu elephant camp. Okay, so you have to choose the correct option, or you can say how many statements are correct among these statements. Okay, so let's have a look. We have taken this question because this particular movie, that is Elephant Whisperers, won the Oscar awards for, you can say, best documentary shorts. Okay, following which our president visited this particular area, and she said that, or she appreciated the traditional knowledge these communities are using to, you can say, manage these camps over here. Okay, so that is why this communities, that is Beta Kurumbar, Kattu Nayakar and Malasar, these communities are important, and they are in this area of Madumalai, and they are managing this Theppakadu elephant camp. Okay, now Tamil Nadu is, these are the Tamil Nadu's tiger reserve. Here you can say Madumalai is in Tamil Nadu. There are other tiger reserves, that is Satyamangalam, Anamalai, Srivelliputhur, Megamalai and Kalakkar Maduntarai tiger reserve in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so here you can see that for our interest, that is Madumalai tiger reserve, it is in Tamil Nadu. Now coming back to the question, here you can see Madumalai wildlife sanctuary, it is there, and in the center of this particular wildlife sanctuary we have this particular camp, that is Theppakadu elephant camp. Okay, so coming back to the question, it is one of the Asia's oldest elephant camp located at the Madumalai tiger reserve. This statement is correct. The British established it to train elephants to carry timber in the region because it is dominated by the teak and rosewood. So this is one information you can remember, and it is true. The people belonging to these tribes manage the Theppakadu elephant camp, which we have seen. This is also correct. So we can say that all of the above statements, option C would be your right answer. Okay, moving further, question number 2. So the question is, which of the following is the world's largest facility for breeding and conservation of Indian vulture species? Okay, options are A, Jatayu and Sparrow Conservation Breeding Center, Haryana; B, Rani Vulture Breeding Center, Assam; C, Raja Bhatkwa Vulture Breeding Center, West Bengal; and Kerwa Vulture Breeding Center, Bhopal. So these are your options. You have to choose the correct option. So let's have a look at the location. When we are talking about this particular center, that is Jatayu and Sparrow Conservation Breeding Center, that is in Haryana in Panchkula district. Okay, so here you can say that it is in Haryana, and option A would be your answer. And when we are talking about these species of vulture, we have 3 prominent species, and there is a program to conserve these species. The Vulture Conservation Breeding Center is a joint project of Haryana Forest Department and Bombay Natural History Society, and it is collaborative initiative to save the 3 species of vulture: the white-backed, long-billed and the slender-billed vulture. Okay, so these are the prominent species which are found in India, and we are trying to conserve that with this particular center, that is Vulture Conservation and Breeding Center. Okay, now these are the species which all of them are critically endangered when we are talking about IUCN status. Okay, so you can have a look at them. Now option A would be your right answer, that is the Jatayu and the Sparrow Conservation Breeding Center, that is in Haryana. Okay, moving to question number 3. In the context of Lakshadweep, consider the following statement. It is a group of some 3 dozen islands, that is, you can say nearly 36 islands are there, scattered over some 30,000 square miles of Arabian Sea. Okay, So when we are talking about Lakshadweep, it has been in news because our Prime Minister made a visit over there and inaugurated few projects. And during the visit, he has posted some photos which has started some social media tensions between India and Maldives. Okay, so that is why it was in news, and we have taken this question. So statement 2 is the Minicoy are the northernmost island of the group, and the Amin Devi Island is the southernmost island. Okay, so you have to check if this is the northern or southern, which one is the island. Statement 3 is the name Lakshadweep in Malayalam and Sanskrit means 100,000 islands, or you can say a 1 lakh island. Okay, then the Androt Island is the largest island in Lakshadweep and has east-west orientation, unlike other islands lying in the north-south direction. So most of the islands are having north-south orientation. Then this one island, that is Androt Island, is having a orientation that is east to west. We will see how many of the statements are correct. You have to mark. So let's have a look at the map here. So when we are talking about Minicoy, here you can see this is a group of island which is basically we call Lakshadweep Islands, and then here you can see we have this Minicoy. Okay, so Minicoy is the southernmost, you can say. Okay, so in the statement they have said that it is the northernmost, that is why that statement is wrong. Second thing, they have talked about this Andros Island. Okay, they have said that it is having a east to west expansion. Here you can say it is having an east to west expansion. Okay, other islands, when we are having a look at it, they are mostly like this. Okay, so we can say that they are mostly in north to south orientation. Okay, and this is the largest island of this particular group. Okay, when we are talking that there are some 36 islands over here. Okay, out of these 36, nearly 10 islands are there which are inhabitable. Okay, and even to go to these islands you need special permission. You cannot just walk into these group of islands. Okay, because of environmental protection and the protecting the culture of these tribal communities over there. Okay, so that is about these two islands here. Now here you can see we have this Amin Devi, which is in the northern side, and north in the southernmost island. And then when we are talking about Minicoy, it is the southernmost island. Okay, so now moving back to the question. When we are talking about Lakshadweep, the first European traveler who came to Lakshadweep was Marco Polo. Okay, he has said that it is a female island. Okay, so coming back to the question, it is a group of some 3 dozen islands scattered over 30,000 square miles of Arabian Sea. This is a general statement which is true. Minicoy are the northernmost. We have seen that these are not the northernmost, these are the southernmost. Okay, island. So this statement is wrong. The name Lakshadweep is in Malayalam and Sanskrit means 100,000 islands. So when we are talking about this language Malayalam, Lakshadweep has a close cultural connect with Kerala. Okay, so there that is why the language which they speak over there is mostly Malayalam. Okay, so that statement is also true. The Androt Island is the largest island in the Lakshadweep, has east-west orientation, which we have seen that other are having north to south orientation. Okay, so how many of the statements are true? Here we have 3 statements, so option C would be a right answer, that is 3 only. Moving further, question number 4. Recently, Meghamalai Hills is in the news. Consider the following statements. Okay, now it is located in the state of Tamil Nadu, so we will see. Okay, other than that, a new species of silver-lined butterfly has been discovered in the Meghamalai Hills. Now they have said it is in the news, and now they are asking about there is this butterfly which has been discovered newly. So there are mostly chances that if it is true, it is just a general idea because it is not necessarily true. So choose the correct options. Here you have to choose the correct options. So let's see. So we have taken this question because it was in news that Meghamalai Hills present a new winged beauty, that is this particular butterfly which has been found over there. Okay, in the Western Ghats in 33 years they have found this particular you can say new species of this butterfly. Okay, so when we are talking about the location of this particular hill, Meghamalai Hills are somewhere here, that is in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so the statement that it is located in the state of Tamil Nadu is correct. The new species of silver-lined butterfly has been discovered in the Meghamalai Hills. That statement is also correct. This is directly taken from your current affairs. Okay, so both of the statements are true. They have asked you the incorrect statement, so your answer would be D. Okay, most of the time when questions are such simple, we because of the excitement we have, we can mark both 1 and 2. But the thing is, they are asking for incorrect, so please pay attention to that. Now, question number 5. Which river system is the focus of recently initiated Jal Marg Vikas project for the development of the inland water transport in India? So basically, when we are talking about infrastructure creations, so we are going for such projects as when we are talking about railways, various bridges. We have actually today only we have inaugurated one bridge that is Atal Setu in Mumbai, which will be connecting the mainland with the Navi Mumbai, etc. So that is why these infrastructure projects are quite important, and one of them is that Jal Marg Vikas project for the development of the inland water transport in India. Okay, your options are A. Brahmaputra river system, B. Ganga Bhagirathi Hooghly river system, C. Indus river water system, and the Godavari river system. Okay, so let's have a look at this particular project, and here you can say when we are talking about this system, this is part of your Ganga Bhagirathi Hooghly river system, and here you can say it starts from Varanasi and goes till Haldia. Okay, that is in West Bengal. So this is generally known as National Waterway 1. Okay, so coming back to the question, you can see here option B would be your right answer, that is Ganga Bhagirathi Hooghly river system. Okay, now moving further, question number 6. While traveling from a train along its bank in the 1920s freedom fighter Gopabandhu Das, okay, known as Odisha's Gandhi, in his book that is Bandiara Atmakatha, biography of a prisoner, wrote eloquently about this particular lake. Okay, following lake. So options are Chilika Lake, Pulikat Lake, Sambar Lake, and Wooler Lake. Okay, so now in this question they have given few facts, that is a person who is traveling from this particular area and he was a freedom fighter, that is Gopabandhu Das, and he has actually his book is given, that is Bandiara Atmakatha. Okay, and he is also known as Odisha's Gandhi. Now the biggest hint is in this question is that he was known as Odisha's Gandhi. So if there are some options, Chilika Lake, Pulikat Lake, Sambar Lake, and Wooler Lake, okay, and if you know the location of these lakes, okay, so now they are talking about Odisha, there are high chances they would be talking about Chilika Lake. Your answer would be A. So let's have the look at the map here. It is in Odisha. You can see this is Chilika Lake. It is in Odisha. Okay. Now you have to remember this name for your exam point of view. Gopabandhu Das. Okay. So Indian government has released a dark ticket, or you can say postal stamp in his name. Okay. Other than that, Gopabandhu was born in 9th October 1877 in a village called Suwando in district of Puri. Subhas Bose rightly called him the father of national movement in Odisha. Okay, so that is the important fact you should remember. Okay, he was a great social reformer and harbinger of the new social order. Okay, so that is about Gopabandhu Das. Now moving further, in this question, as I told you, answer would be A, that is Chilika Lake. Okay, moving further, question number 7. Consider the following statement about the Ramsar Convention. So this was a factual question, but the sites which has been nominated we have taken. Ramsar Convention approved the voluntary wetland city accreditation system during COP 12 in 2015. So this system they are talking about, city accreditation system under Ramsar Convention itself. Okay, then the 3 Indian cities Indore, Bhopal, and Udaipur have been recently nominated for wetland cities accreditation. Okay, choose the correct options. So let's have a look at the explanation. Here you can see Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change submits a report for wetland city accreditation under Ramsar Convention on wetlands of cities, that is Indore, Bhopal, and Udaipur. So that is why these cities were in news, because these 3 cities have been given for the nomination under this particular category, that is wetland city accreditation. Okay, so that is why you can say that this here you can say Sirpur, Indore, Bhoj wetland in Bhopal, and Fateh Sagar wetland in Udaipur. Okay, so Ramsar Convention approved the voluntary wetland city accreditation system during COP 12 2015. So that is a true statement, that is a factual data, you should remember that. And then when we are talking about the 3 Indian cities that are Indore, Bhopal, and Udaipur, which we have just seen, they were in news, and that is why we have taken these locations. So when we are talking about the correct options, option C would be your right answer. Okay, moving further, question number 8. Consider the following statement about Krishna Raja Sagar KRS Dam. The Krishna Raja Sagar Dam was built across the river Kaveri in Karnataka. Second statement, it is type of a gravity dam. And third statement is the dam was designed by Sri M. Vishwesvaraya. Okay. So how many of the above statements are correct? You have to choose. Okay. So let's have a look at the map. So when we are talking about Krishna Sagar, here you can see this is on the Kaveri river. Okay. So Kaveri river has been in news because of the dispute, etc. So you have to remember in which states it flows. And when we are talking about the Kaveri river, it is between what states and union territory. Okay. So Krishna Sagar Dam is on the Kaveri. When we are talking about the tributaries, some important tributaries are Hemavati, Kabini, Bhavani, Salem, etc. Okay. So this Salem is the location here. So these are the important tributaries, that is Hemavati, Kabini and Bhavani river. Okay. Now, when we are talking about gravity dam, as I told you that Krishna Sagar, there was this statement related to the type of dam Krishna Sagar dam is. So it is a gravity dam. When we are talking about gravity dams, these are concrete structures which are basically raised to hold the water. Okay. And by virtue of their weight only, okay, they will, what they do is they survive the all the weight or the force by the or hydrological force of the water. Okay. So here you can see that when we are talking about a gravity dam, so all the forces which are acting upon this particular dam, this is the dam. Okay. So there will be a hydrological force from here. Okay. Then there will be the uplift force from down, and then the tailwater force from this side. All these forces will be countered by the weight of this particular dam. Okay. So because it is working on the weight, and weight is basically because of the gravity, and that is why we call such structures as gravity dams. Okay. So here you can see that this is a dam, all weight is countering the other forces. Okay. So that is about gravity dam. The Krishna Sagar Dam was built across river Kaveri in Karnataka. We have talked about that. It is a type of gravity dam. This is also true, which we have seen. The dam was designed by Sir M. Visvesvaraya. So basically you have to remember this fact. It is important. Okay. How many of the above statements are correct? All of the above. Option C would be your right answer. Before ending the session, we will have a look at the practice question. That is, Krishna Godavari basin is predominantly situated in which Indian state? Options are A. Rajasthan, B. Karnataka, C. Andhra Pradesh, D. Maharashtra. So you have to attempt this question and answer in the comment box. With that, I would like to thank you for watching this video, and if you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel. Thank you. I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, have a good day.